Welcome to Daycare Chronicles One-on-One's weekly podcast, and I am your host, Miss Tanya. I can't thank you enough for listening, for subscribing to me on Instagram, on my social medias, on my podcast channels, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Luminary. I had someone tell me that I was on Luminary. I'm just so grateful and so thankful. I just want to get that out of the way. Now let's get to business. The first topic that I would like to speak on today is, as a provider, there are so many aspects of what your family childcare business could be. What ages do you want to service? What hours do you want to work? Do you want to be 24 hours? Do you just want to be from 6 to 6 traditional? Do you want to do drop-in care? Do you want to do weekend care? Do you want to care for school-age children? Do you just want to do before and after school care? There are so many aspects of family daycare that you can choose to do. So I say that if you're thinking about this, or even if you're a provider and maybe you need a switch up or a change up, do your research, talk with other providers, talk with other daycare centers, just to kind of see, how it is, so that they can give you their opinion and, just some of their advice on some of the things that they have to deal with with working with these new hours or these changes or whatnot, and with the parents. Family daycare is so essential to our communities. A lot of parents don't want their children in a center-based place when they're young. And I totally understand that. They don't want their children to get lost, they're just a number. And I totally understand that, because I was someone who chose family daycare as well when my daughter was small. My son never had to go to daycare because I had opened up daycare by that time. So that was just a blessing for our family, for me to be able to care for my own child. And that's what pushed me to want to do daycare. I didn't want to leave my baby, but everyone doesn't have that option, and everyone doesn't have that desire. So do your research. I remember going around to other preschools and other daycares, just checking them out, getting their brochures or their pamphlets, describing their program and what they offer. And that's how I was able to come up with my very first brochure. I was able to do that because I was like, okay, well, I'll take this from this one, maybe that one, maybe tweak it a little bit, change it to what I really wanted to do. Because when I first started, I was 21. I was 23. I didn't know, much about starting a daycare. Our resource and referral agency, Crystal Stairs, was just a godsend to me. I was able to befriend a lady that worked in the resource and referral department, and she just took me under her wings, and from there, daycare was really born. She told me how I should answer the phone, what to do with my clients. And then there were so many resources and workshops that Crystal Stairs was offering that I was, able to be a part of, that really helped me to grow my business. I went from a small daycare to a large daycare. And as a provider too, you also have to figure out, do you just want a small daycare or do you want a large daycare? I know you typically start off with a small and then you graduate to a large, but everyone doesn't want to have a large daycare. They just want to keep it small, keep it simple. And with the more children that you are able to take on, it's really good for the community. And because a lot of times parents want their children to be at one daycare. They want their school-age children to be able to be picked up from the daycare and be brought to where their younger sibling may be. It just makes it easier for the parents at pickup time. And I totally understand that. So if you're a provider that can offer that service, the parents really, really, really do appreciate it if you're thinking about it. Sometimes the traffic at the schools is horrible. That's one of the things that I don't like, is that everyone is there at the same time to get the children. The traffic is bad. In my city, there's always the traffic officers out, and they're always giving tickets or whatnot. So I just learned to go a little later where I'm not too late to pick the children up, and then I just kind of avoid all of that. Or I get there super early and I just sit and I wait, if you have that option, if you have assistance or whatnot. So there are so many aspects, and I pray that eventually we'll get to discuss all of them, because family daycare is just very, very unique. At this point, I would like to give a shout out. And I know you guys say, oh, she just loves Melissa and Doug. I do. I love Melissa and Doug. My program would not be what it is if it were not for the resources and all the different tools that I use. And Melissa and Doug is definitely one of the main companies that I use. And you may ask why. Because of the quality, because of the durability, because of the colors. The children like it. It's intriguing. It's engaging. I don't have to worry about, them hurting themselves or, too small pieces or whatnot. I just love Melissa and Doug. And they're so readily available at Target, Home Goods has them. You can even go into Lakeshore Learning and find some Melissa and Doug things as well. Lakeshore Learning is another store that I use a lot because of the quality and the durability, and the toys just last. Whatever you may purchase from there, trust me, you'll be happy. Trust me, you will be happy because it's just good quality, and you pay a little more for it, but we don't want to keep running back and forth to the store buying stuff. There are some things that you may be able to pick up from the dollar store or, the 99-cent store or Big Lots or something. There may be some things, but then there are some things that you just need to last longer. You want them to be able to be used again and again. Costco and Sam's Club. Do not sleep on Costco and Sam's Club. I get a lot of my writing materials, a lot of my workbooks come from Costco and Sam's Club. I love the Bob books, which are like pre-reading books. They have sight workbooks now, and they're in Sam's Club and Costco. Costco has a wider variety of them. But those books are used almost every day in my daycare. I just love them too. They're at Lakeshore, but Costco and Sam's Club has them as well. If you have a Lakeshore Learning store in your area, check to see if they have an outlet. I have gotten bookcases, cubbies, so many things from Lakeshore Learning. If you are a new provider or a provider who just needs to switch up and refresh some things, and yes, providers, we must refresh some things. Some things, when they get worn and tattered, it's just time to discard and purchase something new. I cannot stand to go into a school or a provider's home and you see something that looks like it's been there 1,000 years and it's just worn and tattered, and that it's time to just replace it. I understand you may have an attachment to it or whatnot, but you want to keep things clean, sanitary. You want to keep things looking fresh. You want to keep things that are engaging to the children, because I, for one, believe that once a child gets bored, that's when you have a problem. As long as the child is engaged, they're having to use their critical thinking skills, they're having to create some things with what you put out, you typically don't have a problem. It's when they're bored and you think, oh, well, they're just going to sit in front of that TV all day. No, not at all. I am not the TV person for my daycare children. There are certain things that we do watch on YouTube in the morning. We may do our good morning song. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think of, the Singing Walrus has a really nice good morning song. So we use that. There's a gentleman on YouTube named Jack Hartman. Jack Hartman has YouTube and his learning channels just sewn up. He has any and everything that you can think of. Jack Hartman is really just amazing, and I'm watching and trying to learn as much as I can learn, and if I need to tweak something for my program, then I'll do that. But that Jack Hartman, he is a beast, let me tell you. Check him out on YouTube. Anything you may want for your younger children all the way up to your school-age children. If you need sight words, if you need multiplication, if you just want to do the ABCs, if you just want to do some fun, Jack Hartman has everything. If you want to do the parachute, Jack Hartman has everything. So providers, I don't know how you run your program, but I do utilize YouTube sometimes for some of the things, because our children are so accustomed to having these tablets and having things that are keeping them engaged. So with Jack Hartman's things, they're very colorful. He's very animated. The children really like it. There's another young gentleman. His name is Desmond Dennis, and I just found out about him a couple of months ago. He's like redid the Baby Shark and all of that with like an R&B hip hop feel to it. But he does the ABCs, he does the nursery, he does all kinds of stuff. Desmond Dennis is a young rising star, and he is amazing, and the children love it as well. And we get up and we dance, just like Jack Hartman has a number rap. Like it's just so much that's out there, and you just kind of figure out how you want your program to be and what works for you. Absolutely. I would love to give you a healthy snack tip at this time. With the healthy snack tip for this week, I have taken a bell pepper. You can do red, green, yellow, orange, whatever color you want to do. And just cut the top off, clean it out really good in the inside and wash it really good. And I would just put in the base of it sun butter or ranch dressing, or you can do a yogurt that you can put in there as well. And with those things, then you cut your vegetables up, you cut your celery up, you can cut up your broccoli, your other tricolor bell peppers, whatever you want to do, your carrot sticks, and put them in there, and they're coming out and it looks really nice, really colorful. Like I said, you can put yogurt, you can put salsa in the bottom if you want, you can put sun butter, or whatever you choose to use. And then also, just add some Ritz crackers to it, or add, whatever type of cracker you would like to add to that, and there's a nice healthy snack right there. Simple, not hard at all whatsoever. The yellow bell peppers, the red bell peppers, the orange bell peppers, they have a little sweeter taste. And you can even find those that are like the mini ones that have like a sweeter taste to them. And just to get the children used to eating vegetables. Children do not like to eat vegetables. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why. Because the way they're being prepared is just not tasty. It's over for put the little bit of water in the pot and the vegetables in the pot and just let it simmer. No, I'll put some butter on some aluminum foil, put it in the pan. I'll throw my frozen corn on top of there. If it's not fresh corn, I'll throw the frozen corn on top of there, add another little dollop of butter, put it in that oven. You can put some Parmesan cheese on it, roast it at 425. OMG. You talk about good. You can even do your mixed vegetables the same way. I am roasting more vegetables than ever. I typically never boil anything anymore, put it in a pot with a little bit of water. The children just love the flavor. They love flavor too. So I feed my daycare children the way that we eat in our home, and that's how myself and my husband eat. That's just what we do. We roast everything. Brussels sprouts. You never think a child would like Brussels sprouts until you put them in the bag, in like a little Ziploc bag, add a little bit of olive oil. You've cut them and washed them and all of that. Sprinkle a little bit of minced garlic in there. Shake the bag up really good. Put it on the aluminum foil on your pan. Put it in the oven on 425. You talk about good. Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you, you don't know what you're missing. You can do your asparagus the same way. My grandson is 4. He loves asparagus. He loves to eat him some asparagus. Like, I have to make a whole bunch just for him because he's going to eat it all. So those are just some little healthy tips to help you with getting the children to eat their vegetables. And it's fun. And I always, when I'm trying something new, I usually sit down with the children. I'm like, come on, y'all, let's eat this. So, and I'm crunching away with them. We're laughing and, just trying to get them to try it, encouraging them. We have to do things in a very fun way, with the children. And it's just easier, They don't want you standing over there and saying, oh, well, you need to eat this. No. You know what? Hey, you guys, look what Miss Tanya made. You think you want to try it? It's just your presentation of things. It's just the presentation of things. And that definitely does make a difference. If you're welcoming with your presentation and you're engaging, then it makes them a little more apt to try new things. Because a lot of times when the parents pick them up, it's fast food. You got to go, grab that. Then we're going home. We're going to take a bath and we're going to go to sleep. That's pretty much the routine during the week. So as providers, we have to make sure that we feed our children very, very well when they are in our care. So that's just a little healthy snack tip, a little healthy side dish menu for you there. I pray that you can do that. If you ever want to contact me, you can always go to my Instagram page, Daycare Chronicles 101. You can send me a DM, or you can always hit me up on my Facebook page, Little Critters 24-Hour Daycare. You can do that. Not a problem at all whatsoever. I have been having a lot of providers DM me from my Daycare Chronicles 101 Instagram page with issues that they have been having in the daycare. And so this platform is so great because we're able to share ideas, we're able to encourage one another, we're able to help one another, if there's an issue that comes up that maybe we don't know how to deal with. And one of the main things with providers is that we need to stick together. We need to network. Just because there's a daycare around the corner or 2 blocks down, or you're all at the school picking up children, doesn't mean that you all can't get to know one another and just build a network so that, say for instance, it's a child that I'm not able to keep, I can refer them over to you. Or if you can't keep them, then you know what? We have another provider in our network. Networking is so important, especially in your cities. It's definitely a good thing to have when you're able to build another provider's child care up as yours is. It's just a blessing. If I'm blessed, I want to be able to bless someone else too. That's just how it goes. That's the circle of life. Some providers are just not so welcoming, and I understand that. Some providers are a little intimidated because they're like, well, I don't want you to take my child. Well, I'm not trying to take your child. I would just like for us to get to know one another. And therefore, if you have someone that calls you and you're full, then maybe you can refer them over to me. It's just called networking. It's just as simple as that, networking. So I just pray that as providers, we can really come together and really network with one another in our cities. Because if I can do it on Instagram, and I have providers DMing me from England, from London, from Africa, just different places, I really think that we should be able to do it right here at home as well, so that we can build a better community. We're dealing with the early years, and that's so important. That foundation is so important. So I try to do that as often as I can. I will refer out. Every child doesn't always fit your program. I've said that before. Parents, this is for parents. When you are looking for daycare, I understand that sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. Nowadays, you can just Google. And it depends on the age of your child and the development of your child too, certain questions to ask. If I have an infant and I'm walking into a daycare and I see that most of the toys are for children like 3 and 4, my first question is going to be, so what activities do you have for the infants to do? Where will my infant be? Do you share playpens? What do you do if they get sick during the daytime? Do you provide bibs? These are just some of the basic questions that parents should ask. Do I need to provide the milk? Do I need to provide the diapers? How would you like me to bring them? Would you like me to bring them every day? Or would you like me just to bring you a case and then, you'll let me know when I need to bring more? These are just questions that parents need to ask. Where will my child be sleeping? Where will my child be playing? Who are your assistants? Is everyone in the house licensed to be here? Does everyone have CPR? Has everyone had a TB test? These are just, things to ask a provider. And providers, there are certain questions that we need to ask the parents. I'm not a provider that's trying to be all up in my client's business, but there are just certain things that we need to know. Per licensing, there's a form an information form, and it says, does the father live in the home? Does the mother live in the home? Like, these are things that we need to know. If I have a mom that comes, she says she's a single mom, one of my first questions is, well, does the child get to see the father? Does the child interact with males? These are just some of the questions. How often is the child, visiting the other parent? Because a lot of times when you have a child that may start to show little signs of different behavioral things or whatnot, it could be because of, well, maybe they just came from a weekend with dad and they didn't want to leave dad, or maybe they had a weekend with mom and they really wanted to stay. These are questions that providers have to ask too. So I always tell parents, when you come and you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you as well, just to see if I'm a good fit for you and if you're a good fit for me. And if I feel like it's not, or you feel like it's not, it's okay. Maybe I can refer you to someone else that may be better suited for you and your family. And that's quite all right. That's what it's about. Every marriage doesn't work. Every school doesn't work. Every doctor isn't for you. Every teacher isn't for you. When you go to a restaurant, every waiter or waitress is not the best waitress for you. I mean, this is just life. This is just how it is. So it's never personal. It's just all about business and making the best business decision for your facility. As providers and as parents, it's about making the best decision for you and your child or children. Absolutely. So we must, when we do our orientations, we really need to screen properly, because you just don't know. And some things will be missed. And I always let my parents know, this is a trial period. We'll see how things go. I give it about a month, because within a month, pretty much the child has become acclimated, the parents become acclimated. And if there's anything that doesn't fit your program, it usually comes out within that time. So I let the parents know, this is a trial period here. I am going to accept your child and your family. However, if at any time I feel like, and this is the language that I use, I cannot meet the needs of you and your family, I will let you know. And then we will terminate care immediately. And that pretty much covers you from everything that was actually told to me by a licensing analyst. A lot of times you don't want to get into the reason why you're going to terminate care. And this is just a blanket statement. I am not able to meet the needs of you and your child or you and your family at this time. I can refer you to someone else, but this is going to be the termination date. And that's not always an easy thing to do. But if you have a client that is stressing you out, or the child is stressing you out, or your day isn't going as smooth as you would like it to be, and it's because this child needs a little more than what you're able to give, then that's what you would say. That's one way to say it. I'll say that. Sorry, excuse me. Also, another thing that I would like to talk on today is your setup, your daily setup. How is your setup inside and outside? We should have, a variety of things for the children to do. When children do the same things, they get bored every day. So I'm fortunate enough to have a pretty big backyard. So I'm able to switch things up almost on a daily basis if I choose to. I may leave stuff the same for a couple of days, but I try to switch it up to keep the children's interest. That's the main thing. Like I said, once a child gets bored, that's when the issues may start. Everything doesn't have to come from Lakeshore or Home Goods or Target or Sam's Club or Costco. You may be in Walgreens and see something. I bought quite a few things from Walgreens. You may be in your local grocery store and see something. You may be in the 99-cent store. You may see something anywhere that may benefit your program. Also, Target. Speaking of Target has this little $5 section when you first walk in. Don't pass it by. Don't pass it by. Let me tell you, I have gotten so many good things from that area, from felt books to, felt money to posters, signs that I hang on my fence in my gardening area, dishes, aprons, markers, just so many different activities that I have gotten from that area. So don't sleep on that area in Tarjay, because let me tell you, there are some little gems in that area as well. Children love to be outside. We're in California, so it's warm most of the time. And if it does get a little cool, we put a jacket on, we layer them up. We go outside every day, unless it's pouring down raining. We go outside every day. They need that. I need that. The children need to be able to go, run, jump, skip, hop, bounce a ball, play. When you're in the house all day, as adults, we get bored and we need to get out. So what do you think the children are feeling? Same thing. They need to get outside. They need to play. One thing that is so inexpensive that the children love, and you can do so many lesson plans with this, is chalk. Colored chalk, white chalk, whatever. Chalk. You have a patio or a chalkboard or the patio, and you can go out there, you can write their names, you can do the colors, you can write the numbers, you can do sight words. It's just so many things. You can draw animals. It's just so many things that you can do with chalk. I always try to set up a writing area for the children. I always give them that option. It's a really good option for them. Children love chalk. They love markers. They love the dry erase. They love the dot art. Melissa and Doug has really nice dot art markers, which are really good. Easily washes off. Not a problem at all whatsoever with it. If it gets in your clothes or whatnot, the children it just washes right out. But chalk is old school. Chalk has been around forever, and chalk is fun. My children love to write with chalk. Of course, they're covered in it by the time we're all done, but it's okay. Not a big deal. They had a great time. But always put something out where the children can write and be creative, where they can draw and be creative. I always try to put sensory out. Something sensory. It's going to be water. It's going to be bubbles. It's going to be sand. It's going to be, and I prefer kinetic sand. Absolutely. It's not as messy. But there's always going to be something out that's sensory for them. You may use the little Orbeez beads. You may use rice and throw some little letters in there or something like that. Something with texture in there. Sensory is, we've made sensory bottles using the Boss water bottles, and just went on Pinterest. Go on Pinterest. Use Pinterest. And you can get so many ideas. That's how I developed my mud kitchen outside. Went on Pinterest, saw some mud kitchens, an idea came to me, and I created my mud kitchen with the storage shelving shelves. So I use that, and if you go on my Instagram page, you'll be able to see that. My outdoor kitchen, my mud kitchen is out there. Not necessarily that we use mud, but we do use water. You know, they do have sand. We do have bubbles. Little Tykes, step 2 has the little sinks. And you can fill them up, take the top off, put the water in there, put the top back on, and then you can push it, the handle, and the water comes out. Those are just really good things for them to have. The dishes. IKEA's children's section is amazing. I'm giving all these shout outs. I pray somebody picks me up and want to be a sponsor. IKEA has one of the best children's departments as well. You can get everything from IKEA. I much as I love Melissa and Doug, I do buy IKEA's stainless steel pots and pans because it's just more economical. And they last. And, you know, they're outside. There are times when you do have to replace some things, but not a problem. When it's time to replace it, I just replace it. I have 29 years worth of things in there, and I will replace something in a minute because I want it to be safe for the children. I want it to be clean. I want it to be sanitary, and I don't want to have to worry about anyone getting hurt with it. So check out IKEA as well. IKEA has rugs, they have changing tables, they have blankets, they have toys, our train set, our wooden train set that they build on the floor. or outside. That comes from IKEA. The trains are beautiful. IKEA is definitely really, really great. And these are things that you really aren't hard to put together at all whatsoever. So IKEA is another good place to go. I just want to reiterate the fact of parents really, really coming up with a list of questions to ask provider. And providers need to come up with a list of questions to ask potential clients. That's very, very important to your program. And your setup inside is just as important as your setup outside. Of course, they're going to be different. I'm so thankful because I always say I have an indoor-outdoor classroom. Anything that's inside I can take outside, and then I can just bring it back. And it's just a wonderful thing. I have the IKEA storage shelves with the bins in them. If you go to IKEA, you'll see them. They're colorful and all that. And I've had them for years. I replace the bins every so often. But the structure of where the bins go, the storage unit, wonderful. I've had them for many, many years, and they clean very well and all of that. Your setup is important. I can't reiterate that enough. So I just pray that I have said something that will encourage you, that you were questioning in your head and I was able to say, and you're like, dang, that's right. Okay, thank you so much for that. I pray that I am a benefit to you, because you all are a benefit to me, especially on my Instagram page. When you comment and you give me advice or constructive criticism, or just a thank you, or you have a question for me, I appreciate that so much. And as always, in closing, if you don't want to be a chronicle, don't do it.